Forgiveness. Perhaps it is one of the most difficult things we are ever called to do in life, especially when the person who has hurt us has taken from us what is most precious, when the wound is so deep it seems impossible to heal. Imagine for a moment the pain of a mother whose only beloved child has been taken away by violence. The grief is overwhelming, the anger suffocating, and the sense of loss immeasurable. Yet today, I want to share with you a true story. A story of a mother, of unimaginable loss, and of a decision to forgive. A decision that reveals how God's mercy can reach into the darkest corners of human suffering and begin to heal even the deepest wounds. It was 1993 in the state of Minnesota, United States. Osha Israel, a 16-year-old African-American teenager, became involved in an argument. In a moment of anger, tragedy struck. He took a life. The victim was Laramian Bird, just 20 years old, the only son of Mary Johnson, a woman of deep Catholic faith. With that single act, Mary's world collapsed. The laughter, the hopes, the dreams she had for her son, all were gone, stolen in a night. Mary's pain was indescribable. She entered a darkness of grief and rage, her heart heavy with hatred for the boy who had taken her son. She confessed, "I didn't know who I was anymore. It was as if I had lost my own heart." Oshia, meanwhile, was sentenced to 25 years in prison. And for many years afterward, Mary lived caught between anger and emptiness, unable to find peace. But then, something remarkable happened. One day, as Mary prayed, she heard a quiet voice within her soul. You cannot pray the Our Father and still hold on to hatred. She realized that forgiveness was something she needed, not because Oshia deserved it, but because God had forgiven her and was calling her to do the impossible. It was not easy. For months, Mary wrestled with this call. She prayed, she wept, and she questioned whether she could really let go of her anger. Eventually, she wrote a letter, requesting permission to visit Oshia in prison. The day of their meeting arrived. When Mary and Oshia faced each other for the first time, silence filled the room. The weight of all that had happened pressed down on them. Finally, Mary spoke. "I forgive you." And then she embraced him. Oshia broke down in tears. For years, he had believed he did not deserve to live, that he would always carry the burden of what he had done. But in that moment, something changed. The embrace of the mother whose son he had killed was an act of mercy that transformed him. It was as if a light had broken through the darkness. After Oshia was released from prison, Mary did something almost unimaginable. She invited him to live next door to her. Over time, they became friends. More than that, they became like mother and son. Together, they began to share their story in churches, prisons, and schools, speaking about the power of forgiveness, mercy, and the possibility of transformation. Oshia's words echo with humility and hope. If she can forgive me, then I have no reason to keep living in regret. I want to live in a way that honors her forgiveness. Through Mary's act of mercy, both their lives were changed. What began in tragedy was transformed into a testimony of love. When we look to the cross, we see a God who, even in the midst of suffering, prays for his enemies. Father, forgive them. God's mercy does not wait for us to be perfect. He does not wait for us to be sorry enough or to make ourselves worthy. Instead, he meets us where we are, with open arms, ready to forgive, even while we are still broken and sinful. Mary Johnson is a living example of this divine mercy. In her, God took unimaginable pain and transformed it into a witness of love and forgiveness. Through her, others have come to believe that forgiveness is possible, even in situations where it seems unthinkable. Perhaps you, too, are carrying a wound. Maybe there is a hurt from a family member, a friend, or even from yourself that you cannot imagine forgiving. The pain is real, and it may feel impossible to let go. But remember this: with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. These are the words of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew. Forgiveness is not something we do by our own strength. It is a grace, a gift that God gives us when we ask for it. If you find yourself struggling to forgive, do not be afraid to bring your pain to God. Ask him for the strength to let go of hatred, to be free from the prison of bitterness. When you forgive, you do not erase the past or excuse the wrong that was done, but you open your heart to healing. You allow God's mercy to flow through your wounds, transforming them into signs of hope for others. Let us pray. Lord, help me to forgive as you have forgiven me. Even when I am hurting, even when I am weak, give me the courage to let go of hatred and the grace to love as you love. Use my wounds, Lord, to become signs of your mercy for those around me. Forgiveness does not change the past, but it does open the door to a new future. May Mary Johnson's story inspire us to believe in the power of mercy, and may we, too, become instruments of God's healing love in our world.